Thus, more time, wait longer, see longer, trust hands longer, right? Turns out right here. So it should, at minimum, be that fall right here.
That's positive feedback. Yup, the pros are poised. We never pose. You'll never know. From 93 till infinity, we've been inventive. Creating the bump is our only incentive. And it's been a long time since I feel I've been felt. But the only thing I fear is fear.
We got some good feedback last time. I'm glad it's a podcast series we're going to be trying to do weekly, give some things back to the youth during this time, and we're obviously shelter in place and quarantine and whatnot. Rumors that things could change moving forward, but in the meantime, man, I'm glad that this is something we decided to do because it seems to be beneficial for everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. I love it. I'm honored to be a part, man. Let's rock and roll.
Indeed, man. So would like to start before we go into my development group this week, we dealt with failure, which is where I'm going to lead to. But I want to back up a little bit and have you talk about baseball for you as a kid into like the collegiate area and what you got to see as a baseball player. If I was to put myself in your shoes, I'd be like, man, this dude got to grow up with Jerry Manuel. He was probably in dugouts and clubhouses. And just seeing how you are at the Jerry Manuel Foundation, it seems like you could have grabbed a lot. You listen a lot before even speaking sometimes. So what kind of things did you grab to help you as a youth player, as a college player, into the professional ranks, just from soaking up what you got to soak up being around your dad and in major league clubhouses?
Okay, all right. So I'll give you my baseball testimony then.
Here we go.
What it sounds like.
Please do.
So
Please do.
Obviously, baseball has been one of the most consistent things that I can say that it's been in my life, my entire life. God, family, baseball. Obviously growing up in the game. So yeah, so from the jump, I was in the game. I was born in the game. Me and my brother both. He played all the way up until he played in college. He played college baseball. Then he decided to go the business route.
I didn't know he played college ball.
Yeah. He played at Oral Roberts. He redshirted. Then he went to Florida A&M and played. And then he decided to hang him up. And go the business direction, which obviously we see is paid off well for him with the fear of God that he's doing. So
right, and for those that don't know, that's Jerry Lorenzo, fashion guru, man. I saw him hit a tank in a celebrity softball game, so I knew he had a swing.
I told him we have to be MVP if we're gonna be in the game. You got it done, man. So, I was the kid, that was just a baseball junkie. To be honest, man, I wanted to go to the park early with my dad every day, any chance I could. Wanted to be around the players, wanted to be in the locker room. So, as a kid, I was always in there, and I'm thinking, I want this to be my life. I want to be one of these guys, So
right, rubbing off.
So I'm at the park early. I've had the experiences where. We were in Montreal one summer, and the Cardinals come to play, and Ozzie Smith was taking ground balls.
Wow.
And the home team is not supposed to be on the field while the visiting team is taking their BP. Mm-hmm. But it was Ozzie Smith. So I ran out there and took my Expos gear, took some ground balls with him.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like 12 years old, man. But I had a tough journey, to be honest with you, man, because I was always very small, not only short, but I was skinny. I was, going into my freshman year of high school, I was 4'11", 75 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So in South Florida, baseball is huge, and so in our middle school had a team, a school team. So
wow.
Sixth grade year, and keep in mind, I'm the baseball junkie that's always going to the park with my dad, getting ground balls, hitting, wanting to, I'm gonna be a professional baseball player, but I'm very small.
Right.
So I go out for tryouts, you know, and I'm picking it, you know, I'm hitting, you know, but my balls really don't go anywhere. So I got 6th grade, I got cut from the team. I came back out 7th grade, I got cut from the team.
Wow.
Came back out 8th grade, all these kids laughing at me like, oh man, he's coming
Here he comes again.
you know, and you know, I'm the only person whose dad is a professional baseball,
Wow.
baseball player in professional baseball. So
And at
8th
this
grade,
point, are you still the same size, or are you growing some?
I'm slightly growing a little bit, but this is eighth grade, so I go out for the tryouts. I make the first day of cuts, get out there for the second day, come to school the next day to see the list. Got cut again, did not make the team. 3 years in a row. So now I go into high school. I'm a freshman at Wellington High School. I the same thing, hustling, first guy on the field. You know, obviously, because I'm that little guy that has to do all the extra
Scrappy.
stuff. I've
Trying to get noticed.
I always have to be that guy, and so, that's freshman year. The coach said, "Hey guys, there'll be a list on my door tomorrow morning if you made the first cut, and you know, obviously, if you didn't, you didn't make the team, blah blah blah." So I felt pretty good about myself because I had been working. I've been with my dad. I've been with major league players. I'm taking ground balls constantly. I'm hitting constantly. I'm in the cage. I'm taking ground balls off the wall at the house. Everything felt really good. So this is freshman year of high school. I come back to school the next day. I get off the bus, and I hustle over to the coach's door
right away, man.
Yeah, I hustle over to the coach's door, look at the list, look at it again, like, name one on the list, man.
Shut up, bro. So 6th, 7th, 8th,
4 years in a row, got cut from the team.
Wow.
So sophomore year comes. And it's all the same kids that have been, you know, in middle school, whatever, that keep making fun of me, whatever it may be, blah, blah, blah.
Man.
So sophomore year now, I'm trying out for JV. Okay, keep in mind, I'm trying out for JV. And so once again, I'm the first guy out there for, you know, helping picking up balls, picking up everything, doing everything that I can. I think we were playing catch, getting ready to start, you know, the tryout. And the coach calls me over. He says, "Manuel, come here." So I sprinted over to him. You know, he put his arm around me, and you know, at a young age, I was very introverted. So
Gotcha.
I could pick up well on people. So, you know, a guy put his arm around my shoulder and said, he said, "Manuel, I don't think this team is for you." So a tear dropped down from my eye. I'm like, you know, he's like, you know, "I really appreciate all your hard work, and I know he's saying something positive that's going to lead to something negative. This is something I already been aware of." And he said, "You know what? You're the starting shortstop for the varsity. Go over there on that field." Man,
Shut your mouth.
I never ran so fast in my life, dog.
I'm sure.
There was dust blowing behind my feet.
Oh,
man.
my goodness,
I sprinted
man.
over the shortstop, and then after that, I got an opportunity to do my thing. And then when we moved to Chicago, my dad becomes the manager of the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
So we go there. That was that sophomore season. I ended up leaving it early to go to Chicago. So I homeschooled the second half of the year. I'm working out with the White Sox, blah, blah, blah. So I go to this, I'm at a big high school where we live out in the suburbs, you know, now where life has changed, you know, you know. So once again, I'm still very small. I'm like 5'4", 5'5", 5'6".
Still undersized.
Yeah,
man.
this is my junior year of high school. So I was by hands down the best defensive player on the field. I made contact all the time, but my ball didn't go anywhere. You know what I mean? So I didn't have any power behind it. So I started every single game at shortstop, but I got DH'd for because the pitcher was 6'3", swole, hitting bombs. So it was kind of like a no-brainer. So I played an entire season, every single inning at shortstop, and never got one at bat. Never got one at bat.
Wow.
So I was chasing
Mm.
balls that were in right field, no matter where
Absolutely.
the ball was. I was making.
Absolutely.
I was the last guy at practice, still taking swings, showing the coach I could hit, whatever. So that was a very humbling season for me.
Oh, indeed, man.
And then senior year, I was a starting shortstop. I got a chance to hit. I got second in the lineup. I hit like 480.
Man, so you hit 480 your senior year, but they wouldn't hit you your junior. That's crazy, man.
Didn't get one at bat, and played every single inning at shortstop.
So you picked everything, man.
Oh man! That's what I told you, man. These things.
That's what I remember. And I laugh because when I first started seeing you do infield lessons, I saw how into the lessons you were, how detailed you were with fielding the ground balls, position, presenting early, and it makes sense because you want clean baseball because you played clean baseball.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be. Otherwise, it's not. You're putting yourself up against the 8 ball constantly. And then you're on the defense. You're letting the guys get on base, whatever it may be. So I ended up going. I made a VHS video highlight tape for myself, and I sent it out to some colleges trying to get noticed. And I sent one to Sac State because I was, my parents met in Sacramento. My cousins were out here. I never, I didn't get to ever really be in Sacramento because we always lived in Florida, then Chicago. So I was never where my family was. So Sac State gave me a little offer. I came to Sac State. Ended up redshirting because I was small. Once again, just because of my size.
Still undersized.
So I decided to spend my spring semester at Sac City because I heard it was better baseball. So I did that. I'm at Sac City. It was better baseball. I'm still a redshirt, going through every practice, doing everything. And at the time, my brother called me. He's like, man, right now Chicago is booming. Dad is doing well. I got some connects out here. Man, come to school out here. And there was also a White Sox scout that wanted me to come to a junior college in Chicago. So I decided to make that move. So I went back to Chicago. So my first year, I got drafted by the White Sox. They at the time they had what's called a draft and follow. So I was a draft and follow. My first year, and we decided, no, I still need to,
play a little more.
Need some more experience, whatever it may be, get my education. So I decided to stay in school. And then when those 2 years were up, I transferred to Biola, which is down in Los Angeles. It's an NAIA school. It was we were in the top 5 in the nation the whole time I was there.
Man.
Laura Will and I, like I told you, I still hold the record for RBIs in the season. Like you got.
That still stands. Let's go, baby. And see, that's big too, especially thinking about the story, man. Not getting a hit, cut 4 years in a row, playing every single day, having someone hit for you. Now you're at the college level, and you still have the RBI record. Like that's a testament to pushing through. So I'm gonna let you finish, but I'm gonna have a couple questions on that, man.
Yeah, and I missed the first 3 weeks of the season because opening day was a big game against Cal Poly Pomona, and the starting pitcher was a prospect. I was a prospect. Baseball America was at the game. They were filming BP, all this stuff. I'm hot at the time. I've got my Soriano batting stance. I'm squatting real low.
Yes, sir.
Man, hitting third in the lineup, playing short, doing what I do. Guy throws a 94 mile an hour fastball that cuts in, but I'm so low in my stance that all I can do is just turn. I can't really get out of the way. So I just turned, but it still got my neck a little bit, and I felt my whole spine go out, and I fell to the ground, and my head went boom, boom, boom.
Oh man!
And then I remember just getting up and running first base. I'm like, oh no, I'm good.
No, you weren't.
They asked me how many fingers they holding up. They showed this. I'm like, oh, that's 9. I'm like, no, you're out the game. So
Oh shoot!
so I had a concussion, man. So I missed the first 3 weeks of the season. But when I came back, obviously the lineup had to change. So I wasn't hitting third anymore. I now was hitting fifth. And you know, that I think that's what put me in position with all those guys on
All those
base
RBIs, absolutely.
and all the hunger that I had. I played with it so much hunger and passion, you know, because the game means so much to me. So
absolutely,
you know, I was able to, you know, show what I can do, and then I was picked up by the Mets. You know, played a few years with them. I actually decided to walk away. I was, you know, I was in a place in my life where I'm like, hey man, am I just following my dad's footsteps, or is this really who I am? You know, so I was, you know, it's time for me to find me type of thing. So I come back to Sacramento. You know, with a little bit of money I got, me and my best friend started to start a music label. And we were into that for a few months, but I still felt empty. I said it didn't feel right, you know, and I felt as if that was my creator speaking and saying, you know, you're supposed to be in baseball. And that's when I played independent ball. So I just started calling independent teams, and that's how I got into the Atlantic League and whatever they beat it. And then ended up getting traded out with JJ in the California League. That's where me and Coach JJ met. We won the championship our last year.
Oh, nice. Who'd you play for in that league?
The Chico Outlaws.
Chico, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so I was a starting shortstop, man, and we won the entire thing, man. And so that was a really cool experience. But in regards to you know, growing up in the game with the father in the big leagues, there were some pluses to that, and there were also some negatives to that. You know, sometimes they were bumping heads with coaches. You know, they want you to field the ball a certain way, but they don't realize I've taken 1 million ground balls. I'm gonna catch this ball how I catch it, and say it might not be how you perfectly want it to look, because I already can just play with it, you know. So
indeed,
you know, that at times caused some tension, if you will, but at the same time, my dad was also constantly preaching to me, you know, how to be a good teammate, you know. And
indeed.
And that's probably one of the toughest things to do when you're not playing and you're on the bench, and naturally you want that shortstop that's playing in front of you to mess up so you get a chance. But you gotta find a way to pull for that guy, you know, because he's still on your team, you know. So that was a learning experience, and something that he taught me that was huge, very pivotal, to where, you know, I'm cheering for the other guy if I'm not in the game, you know, as opposed to hopefully he messes up so now I get a shot, being selfish. You know, because once you get in that selfish mode, I mean, this game humble you very fast. Like you said on the last segment, you can look up and you 0 for 15 before you know it. You're like, what just happened? So
what happened? What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, so it was to be honest, a blessing. It still is to this day.
Absolutely.
To have a father that's, you know, been at the highest level for, you know, 3 decades, and, you know, really still is.
Absolutely.
And to be able to pick his brain on a daily basis is nothing but a blessing. You know, my aspirations to one day manage in the big leagues. So
absolutely, yes.
You know, if your father was a manager of the year, it's a no-brainer that you need to be picking his brain and whatever.
Indeed, man.
What books are you reading? What are you thinking about? What would you do in this situation? You know, whatever it may be. So, him just always being there, and then obviously you see at JMF, he's actually out there.
Man, you know? Every day.
He's out there. I mean, we're talking about the players constantly to this day. I mean, at night we'll be talking about different lineups, whatever it may be. What are we looking like for next year? And he is more involved than a lot of people would realize. And that's why, as we talk about the school and hope some of these kids they're out there listening, um, you give it a chance. Come check it out, because honestly, it's something that I've never seen before, and I get to be a part of it. Like
Absolutely.
we both know that we wish we had something like that when we
Oh
were
man,
coming up. I mean,
definitely.
a school that's for baseball development, really,
Absolutely, man.
really,
It's
so.
unreal. It's
Yeah,
unreal.
yeah. Yeah. His involvement is a lot more than what people realize, which also makes the program so special.
Indeed. And I think the main thing to drive home with that being said is the fact that he'll tell you that he's still learning. He's still learning the game. He's
Exactly.
still learning ways to reach people. He's still finding out the best ways. And I've heard him actually say he's had to change on some things because of the generation, because of the players today versus the players in his era. And that's a testament to him, his mind in baseball, to not be set in his ways and like, oh, you know what, this is how we're going to do it. And that's it, as you just alluded to, with issues here and there on how you feel ground balls and how you go on about your business day to day. He's still innovative in that sense, to where he has you to bounce off. He has JJ, who's been there, Isaac, Josh with the pitching. And then I just come in, for me, to see that as a beautiful thing, because again, to go back to a lot of players that haven't played the game, or that have played the game to a certain point but haven't had the details dealt with. I think that's a beautiful thing, because when we sit in chalk talks, when he sits and talks to them before we start our workouts, they know that that's someone that spent extensive
Yeah.
time in Major League Baseball that is dropping seeds in.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. It's like a no-brainer if you're serious about the game, and he is constantly changing and evolving and thinking of new ways, and because the game continues to change.
Absolutely,
The
man.
game changes. Now they want you to be able to hit the ball in the air, because of sabermetrics and all these different things, and in order to give our kids a chance, we got to show them what they're looking for. This is what they're looking for. They want to see that you can consistently put that ball in the air. You got to be clean all the time. They got to know when the ground ball is hit to you, that's a sure out. And that's why the intensity is the way that it is.
Now, when you go to what you're talking about, sixth grade, seventh grade, eighth grade, freshman year.
Ninth, yeah.
So when I think about this part, one thing I think about is you can look at that as failure, or you can look at that as perseverance. And I'm doing that because this week in the development group, that's what we talked about: defining failure. What is it? How do you view it? So as a player, cutting out or dealing with the 4 years that you were cut from the team, did you view that as failure? And then when you did get your opportunities, how did you deal with struggling at the plate? You had a great glove. You played great defense. That's what you were in the game for. In those types of situations, were you able to? How did you bounce back in those times?
Well, first of all, it's a given in baseball that you're going to fail. Nobody's hit over 500, so you can't expect to get a hit every single time. You already know going into it. Yeah, we're striving to make solid contact and drive the baseball, but we already know that more times than not you're going to get out. If you're 3 for 10, you're considered a Hall of Famer. That means 7 out of those 10 times you failed. So we already know that that's going to happen. So that can't be an emotional shifter, as I see, a lot of kids deal with it, as if they're surprised that they struck out and want to be upset. No, that's an opportunity to grow. That's an opportunity to what did I do with my swing? I felt a little long. Yeah, your hands went out a little too far away from your body, so you now became rotational. You weren't able to stay inside. So
Mm-hmm.
so failure is beautiful because it's an opportunity to get better. And
Absolutely.
and what we're going to drill home this year is you got to expect that it's going to happen.
Right.
Once it happens, even though we're competing to get a hit, but we end up striking out. Okay, I coming into this, I know I'm not going to hit over 500. Nobody's ever hit over 500.
Right. Right.
Nobody's ever. So you already know that that's going to happen. So now when that
Indeed.
happens, the mindset's got to be shifted to, this is an adjustment. This is a time for an adjustment. Why did I strike out? What did I do? Why was I not able to pull the trigger? Maybe I got started a little too late, so I couldn't pull the trigger on that fastball. Now I just got froze and hit strike 3. So now you make the adjustment for the next time. So for me, failure is beautiful because it happens more times than not in our game,
Right.
especially offensively. As much as kids are hitting, we hit in the cage, and we're hitting all the time. We're just trying to go 3 for 10.
Thank you. Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? There's
Absolutely.
7 out of those 10 times you're not gonna get a hit, and that's
Right.
that's guaranteed. That's proven. I mean, so you can't be surprised and let that shake you and shift you and carry that onto your defense. Oh, because I just got out. No, that's part of the game.
Absolute part of the game.
We already know that. We already know that. So that happens. We think about it. We think about the adjustment, flush that, get out there and get ready for defense. And another thing, like my dad will tell you, when he was struggling offensively, when he played defense, he wouldn't let nobody else get a hit. If he ain't getting no hits,
Right.
you ain't getting no hits.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yes, sir.
saying? So it's personal.
Absolutely.
It's personal. I mean,
Taking hits away.
Personal. It's personal. And you got and that's the beautiful part about the program is that my dad keeps it real.
Right.
We're gonna keep it real, but it's gonna be things that are gonna help you. That if you actually adopt these thoughts, you have a chance, and you have a serious chance. I mean,
And I agree. I think the way that the program's set up, the way that it is, it's baseball every single day. You're going to get better in most of the times, at least one area of your game. You're going to have a chance to develop it. You're going to have quality eyes watching you, getting you to the place where you're working through your ground ball process, fielding ground balls properly, having a good approach at the plate. And then some of those times it's going to be actually going into the cage, then going into game, then coming back afterwards and dealing with it again. What pitches did I see? How many pitches did I see? What type of pitches did I see? When you go to that part, dealing with the development part, also somewhat failure, right? When you think of yourself as a hitter going game to game, when you think of someone that had to make plays going game to game, what did you do in between games? I was a guy, unfortunately, I kept a lot of stuff up here. Later on, I started writing stuff down. I try to have the kids that I deal with do both because I feel like they spend so much time staring at a screen, watching YouTube videos on Instagram, that they don't take the time to find out who they are. What did you do in between games using that?
So it would be as simple as, okay, I got out these ways, because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna get out more times than you get a hit. So I would work on those things. Like if I was popping up higher fastballs, I would get the high T going. Make sure that I'm able to get my hands up there and drive that ball. If defensively I was struggling because my balls were tailing, I would make sure during practice in between games I was working on staying on top, going through with 4 seams, making sure it's going through his chest. So you have an opportunity, because you're going to fail in the game. You have an opportunity to work on the areas that you did in between games. So it's a constant growing process, which is what makes this game so beautiful. It's a
Right.
constant growing process.
Constant.
Okay, I went 1 for 3 today. So the two at bats that I didn't get a hit, what did I do? Okay, well I rolled over. Okay, here I was late. Boom. So now I'm going to work on making sure I'm staying inside the ball
Right.
for a couple of days. I'm going to make sure my timing is right. I'm going to focus on those areas where I did fail. And then you're going to find yourself having a little bit of success. Maybe next game
Right.
you're 3 for 4 with a, another good at bat. Sometimes you might be 0 for 4 with 4 lineouts. Opportunity to work on the areas that you did in between games. So it's a constant growing process, which is what makes this game so beautiful. It's a
Right.
constant growing process.
Constant.
Okay, I went 1 for 3 today. So the two at bats that I didn't get a hit, what did I do? Okay, well I rolled over. Okay, here I was late. Boom. So now I'm going to work on making sure I'm staying inside the ball
Right.
for a couple of days. I'm going to make sure my timing is right. I'm going to focus on those areas where I did fail. And then you're going to find yourself having a little bit of success. Maybe next game
Right.
you're 3 for 4 with a, another good at bat. Sometimes you might be 0 for 4 with 4 lineouts.
Exactly.
And you got to stay the same.
Right.
You got to stay the same.
Stay the
You got to
same.
stay the same. I have an opportunity to be a part of a very special group with MLB that there's 5 guys that go around the country, and we call it the tour, and we're looking for baseball players. And there's an old-time scout that's a part of the crew, Bob Fontaine. He's been a big league scout for 50 years. I mean, this old dude knows everything, every player. He knows who you are. I mean, he knows everything.
That's crazy.
Yes. And so he'll tell you a lot of the times when a team or somebody would say, "Hey, go check out this player," he wouldn't go until the 3rd inning, and he would look at his actions in the dugout. And he said if he can tell if he's having a good game or a bad game, he leaves.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So if you're just on the end of the bench, your body language is like, oh man, that means you struck out your first at bat. Or if you're jumping around the dugout, smiling, throwing stuff at people not paying attention. You must have got a hit. Oh, you're that
feeling
guy.
good, huh?
But if they can't tell, you're so even keel. Then it's like, we got something here. We got a player because he can handle the ups and downs and the roller coaster that this game is, and that's exactly what it is. It is a roller coaster of up and down. So
indeed, trying to stay even.
You have to, and that's why we preach that. You're okay. You struck out. Okay, you struck out. Yeah.
Now what?
7 out of 10 times you're going to get out. So that we know that's going to happen. So let's make our adjustment. Let's make our adjustment.
I love the mindset, man, and it has to be there. Right,
Yeah,
and that mindset has to be there because that's the same thing we talked about this week in the group, tied to whether you kick a ball in the field or you have bad ABs or you have a string of bad ABs in games. I put the comparison to them, okay, the ball looks like a watermelon versus a ball looks like a BB, right? Obviously, 2 different feelings if you think about it. But the challenge is to when the ball looks like a beach ball and you line out, it doesn't seem to matter as much. The ball looks like a BB and you line out, man, I can't buy a hit. Yeah. So it buys into your mindset by default. So what you're saying is what I believe is you're trying to marry the two and find that middle ground to where it doesn't matter how you're seeing the ball right now. What am I doing going forward? Because of continuous development, as you're saying.
And emotionally, you got to stay the same. Emotionally, you got to stay the same. You should not. We as coaches should not be able to tell by looking at a player if he's 0 for 4 or 4 for 4. Right. We should not be able to tell. We should not be able to tell. If we can tell, that means that guy's gonna have a hard time playing this game. Because it's gonna wear you down. If you one day you can feel like you're the best player in the world, and then you come back the next day and feel like you're the worst player and all that was on the field.
Absolutely,
Easily.
man.
And that's why it's so important to just stay, hey, I know 7 out of 10 times I'm not going to get a hit. So there's no reason for me to be high and low. Man, stay the same. Be thinking about your adjustment. Why did I get out? Whatever it may be, you've got to stay the same. And you got to constantly be there for your teammates. Constantly pulling for them. Whether you strike out, are you the guy that goes to the end of the bench and sits with his head down, or are you the guy that's up, hey, still helping this guy? You just struck out, so you have something that you can help you're this guy up with. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
Absolutely,
You struck
man.
out. There's something that you can say to help your teammate.
Right. What'd you see?
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Letting them know. Yeah.
Exactly. Especially
Absolutely.
if you got out. You know what I
Right.
mean? And so that's why this game is so beautiful. It creates so many
Absolutely,
bonds.
man.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
once you have a teammate, you guys are friends for life. You know,
Absolutely, man.
we play for millions of teams, but if somebody was once our teammate, you're always for sure still boys. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
I know that's a trip. Thinking about it, like
It is. Everyone.
20 years ago, but we were boys. We were on the same team.
Absolutely.
So to find a way to make it not always be about you, it's got to be about the game, and it's got to be
Absolutely.
about the team. It's got to be about the team, and it's got to be about
Agreed,
the
man.
game, and it cannot be about you.
Right.
If and a good way to figure that out is if when you get home from the game, is the first thing you tell your mom is, I was 3 for 4, or we won or lost.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Which guy are you?
Good question.
So the first thing you say is got to be whether you won or lost. If you're a team
Right.
player,
Right.
and that's what we constantly are trying to build. And there's
Agreed.
so many different intricacies in the game of baseball that we could talk for 5 days without falling asleep and keep going. So
Guaranteed, man. And that's why I think it's beneficial for us to be able to do this on Wednesdays like we're doing, because to me, they just got gold. The ones that listen in and try and, like I said, grab a notebook, write some of these things down, because at the end of the day, as you stated towards the beginning, we didn't get this. Some of us, like you had it, even like I had it. Our era was a little bit different. You were fortunate enough to have Jerry Manuel be your dad and travel the road that he did. So for them to be able to let these seeds fall into their ground, be planted, and bring something up, because that's what you're looking for. As you said, if you're that guy that, I was 3 for 4 today, Dad, and don't think about the team, you don't have to be that guy tomorrow. You don't have to be that guy next week.
You guys lost, and you're still happy.
Boom. Exactly. And that's, I think, the importance of knowing as a baseball player, yes, individually, there's a time you have a job to do. But to your point, if I'm over 2 strikeouts, he's been carving me up. I was the guy that wanted to see that guy a third time. Don't put a new guy in. Let me get that guy with a chance to win the game, because I just wanted another opportunity. The thing I loved about the game is like, man, I got out, dude handed it to me, or man, I took this dude yard last time. I know I'm not going to see that pitch again. Now what's he going to throw? And depending on what kind of inventory you're keeping, what kind of notes you're keeping, it's going to either take you higher or lower. But if you can find that way to stay even, it sounds like continuing to grow.
And also, you got to take your at bats personal.
Indeed.
You know, I mean, it's literally personal. You know, that's how high level of a competitor you need to be, to where this dude is on the mound, I'm not letting him get me out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's personal. You know,
it's
personal.
Right.
It's
even
personal.
Knowing the numbers say the pitcher's going to win 6.5, 7 times out of 10. When you excel over that 3 for 10 mark, when you're better than 30%, pay attention not only to the struggles, pay attention to what you're doing right. What am I doing right? What am I doing consistently? What am I doing watching the game? Am I in the hole? Am I in the on deck circle, still keeping the same routine? Because I guarantee you the guys that excel above that 30% mark, that 300 mark, are guys that are keeping pretty good inventory or have spent a lot of time refining their swing.
Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt,
Indeed,
especially
man.
when you get hot, you want to continue to repeat that, whatever you got going on. I mean, I was one of those players where I changed my batting stance all the time. At
Same here, bro.
one point I was hitting like Chuck Knobloch with my bat going
Oh
straight
man.
back because I wanted to be directed to the ball, and all of a sudden
Right.
my senior year I had 9 home runs. You know what I mean? Because
Man,
I
yeah,
had this weird
that's
goofy looking
funny.
stance, but it
Yeah,
had me going
I did
directly to
something
the ball.
similar because that's how
I
Rod
don't
Carew
care if
kind of
y'all
hit.
I don't care if y'all make fun of me or not. I'm taking your butt deep. I don't care what
Man,
I look like, but I got to be in position. And it's the constant evolution of the game and the constant change.
absolutely.
There's no absolute. There's no this is the
Right.
for sure stance that's gonna put you in position to hit a home run.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
it doesn't work that way. That's why
Right.
it's so important to take reps and be able to take your hands to balls. You'll
Absolutely.
find if some of you kids do make the decision to come to the Jerry Manuel Foundation Alpha Charter, you're gonna find out that my dad will throw balls all over the place.
All over the place.
Hit it up here, hit it down there, hit it here. Take your barrel to the ball, and then you
Hmm.
find out for yourself as a hitter, man, I actually hit balls that are out of the strike zone better than I hit balls that are in the strike zone. You know what I mean?
Right.
The furthest ball
Absolutely.
I've ever hit was probably head high for me. The
Wow.
furthest ball I've ever hit, I got on top of it up here.
Got
Like
the
what?
hands there. Yeah.
But I got the barrel, and that was the furthest, hardest ball I've ever hit. It was a no
Absolutely,
doubt
man.
ball. It
Right.
was a no
Knowing
doubt
who you
ball.
are, knowing who
You know
you
what I
are,
mean?
knowing your
So,
craft. I laughed the year that I got that I was a top prospect in the Orioles in the Mariners organization. I realized with 2 strikes, I was crushing the ball. When I was struggling, I was slumping, man, what's going on? I got to figure this out. Every single time I had 2 strikes, whether I lined out, I got a hit. I'm like, man, I'm hitting everything hard with 2 strikes. I made a modified 2 strike approach stance, right? And it was really wide. I remember Jermaine Clark, he
yep.
got drafted around above me. When he's like, man, Harvey's like, you're hot. You got a hit streak going. He's like, why so wide? Feels good, man. It
Yeah.
feels right. I felt it lasted for almost a month, but I
Yeah,
did it
because you just
because
let
it
your
felt
hands
right.
work. You let with 2
Absolutely.
strikes, you gotta spread out and just let your hands work. You know what I
Absolutely,
mean?
man.
And then when in pro ball, I played with the 2 strike approach. I was
Oh,
choked up
nice.
and I was already trying to go the other way. So I mean, that's why I
Yes,
was
sir.
able to survive and play as long as I did. Um, is because I went up there with the 2 strike approach, man. I would, like I said, I was
Right.
already choked up. So did Mr. Barry Bonds. He choked up
Yeah,
and he choked up on the bat and he had a 2 strike approach, and they didn't even throw
absolutely.
to him. He would go
Crazy.
30, get 30 pitches and none of them be close to the zone.
Not even
But you throw one
close.
in there, he
Gone.
hits it out the park.
Gone, man. Elite. Elite, man.
Man, yeah, it's a trip, man.
So
I guess I got a crazy story about him, but we could talk about that another time. With
indeed,
being in, being
we're
in,
gonna visit
being in
that.
this space. I got a pretty
And
crazy Barry Bonds story. That's,
anything else you want to say to any of the parents, any of the kids that might be listening before we get out of here?
man. First of all, I just want to say I'm excited because we've done one of these, and we've gotten a few kids now that are interested in coming to the school that are going to make an impact, and that's
Right.
exciting. And
Absolutely.
so I just encourage you to at least give it a shot, give it a look, check it out. But to be honest, if you're a serious baseball player, it's really a no-brainer. I mean, if you have someone that's been at the highest level for 3 decades, it's there every day pouring into you, not looking for
Absolutely.
anything from you, just to pour into you. I mean, you can't beat the opportunity. So it's a blessing and honor to be able to do what I do. And like I always tell you, man, we're honored to have you as a part of the staff now. And
Appreciate it, man.
the sky's the limit.
Absolutely.
We've been rolling, but now we're turning into a fine-tuned machine, and that's a beautiful thing. So, I just want to encourage any player that's out there that's unsure, at least give it a look if you're serious about baseball. 7 out of
Appreciate
10, you're good. 7 out of 10, you're gonna fail. You already know that, so don't act surprised when you strike out.
Absolutely, man.
And we should know. We should know if you're 0 for 4 or 4 for 4 by looking
I love that
looking
part.
at you.
I love
You know what I
that
mean?
part, man.
So,
Don't let them know.
hey, you gotta stay focused, even kill, man. So much love to you, and I
man.
appreciate you, and I'll see you next
Appreciate
Wednesday,
you, man.
brother.
That spot and done with my swing. Makes sense. And there's gonna be times someone comes middle in, you're looking away, and you do have to get there. Still have to get there, but you still have to be through. You see how I'm still through a line every single time. That's in. That's middle. That's away. You see what I mean? So I want you here through the zone instead of there. It'll keep you on the ball longer. Make sense? So